Hello everyone, just wanted to show you a little status update. Hadn't really shown this project around at all. Just wanted to show where I'm at. Nearly complete. This was kind of a test run, didn't know how it was going to go. Well, I had this old throwing knife blade my friend gave me. Shout out to Olaf if you're out there watching. And there wasn't much to it. There was just a couple little prongs coming off. It was a throwing knife and happened to break off right between the handle and the blade. So I decided to cut it down, and there wasn't really much tang left to do anything. So I thought I'd try to make a Balisong. I had one to go off of, a really crummy, just steel ocean, standard, super flimsy, but it's fun to kind of flick around. Not much to it. I ended up taking it apart and putting metal washers in the side I could get apart instead of the little nylon ones. They offer a little more stability than the originals. That's just hopeless. Anyway, so thought I could improve on that. So that's the blade. I didn't really want to mess with it much. I wanted to see what I could do with the constraints. This is polished up just a little bit, still got a lot of scuffs in it, but I'm not expecting to use it for much. Just put a couple pins in there and found out where I wanted to drill these holes, 3/16 inch there. The handles I made out of some 1/4 inch just steel and milled it down, figured out how long I wanted it, and this is brought up to about 2500 grit, just sanded it and polished it there. But then I found this bluing solution. It's just regular gun blue. It goes on real quick. I'm going to try it out a little bit later. Did a test run with it. Really liked the results. Now that I'm seeing this in chrome, I might keep it super shiny. Holding it with gloves because every smudge is going to show. I decided, you probably have noticed it, I decided to embellish it with using brass spacers instead of just ordinary small steel ones or even just these tiny little washers. I've seen. Give it a little bit more style, pizzazz, that sort of stuff. I'm a big fan of working with brass, if you've seen my other work. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how it's turned out. Everything goes together reasonably well. I've just been using these which actually came off of a tiny compound bow, with C-rings in it and little divots so that they gonna fit through here. And probably speed this part out just so we can get to the fun stuff. But have the pin and then these washers which just barely fit inside. Squeeze it through. There's not a whole lot of clearance, which is going to keep the action nice and tight. See if I can work this with gloves on. Sometimes I might need to grab an X-Acto or something. There, that one went through. It's nice and clean. So, on the other side. Get these washers in here. Down through the blade. Then the last washer. It's always that last puzzle piece, right, that takes the longest to wedge in, those little wooden puzzles. I don't know if you've ever worked with those, but I get them all the time at birthdays. I don't know. I'm difficult to shop for, I guess. There we go. So there. It's nice and clean. One thing I wanted to avoid was this big gap here. And all of Balisongs, even some really nice ones, have some level of gap. And I know what it's for. It's so that your pin hits the handles and avoid the blade hitting the spacer or anything like that before you latch it. Obviously this latch has been removed. But kind of wanted a more clean aesthetic. I'm not planning on this being, super carryable, I guess. I just wanted it to look nice. So made it pretty darn flush down the middle, and made this little brass bit to complete the circuit. So you have the brass down the edge here is the spacer, and then a little cap piece just to mirror the latch. The latch still needs to be polished up to make it flush with the handle, but overall I'm pretty happy with how it came out. But I think I will, now that I'm looking at it all together, It's the first time I've had it all together with the polished handles. I'll probably blue the handles, and haven't decided. I might even heat brass the blade. You know, just heat it up and run a brass wheel along it just to get it kind of a color to match the brass ends. But overall, I'm really happy with it. It's got a pretty good heft to it. Not super uncomfortable. Not super uncomfortable to flick around. Obviously, it's hard to maneuver in rubber or latex grips, but it's pretty. It's quite a bit of weight to wield, but I can do that one. I am no master of the Balisong, as you can plainly see, but really pleased with the results. There are quite a few things I would do differently. I actually have a bag of Balisong blades ready to go, and those are going to be probably a bit less sophisticated, a bit less complicated than this one. Now obviously I can't find these C-clips anywhere because they've only come on those little compound bows. I think they're called buffaloes or something like that. I could, I guess, sand a little groove in it and then put them in, but what I am more interested in doing, and which I'll probably end up doing, is I have these 3/16" stainless steel spacers, which are really nice. They're very clean aesthetic, and one thing I thought about doing, and I probably will do because I just happy accident today, is I thought I would try putting these little pop rivets in and seeing if I could expand the stainless steel just enough to hold the handle to it, but keep it all free-flowing. And if they didn't work, I could drill them out. But when I decided just to test it, the washer, the bulge on the top of this rivet, ends up holding it pretty secure. So that's pretty nice. Looks a lot better than the C-clip. So I think what I'll do is cut down these spacers so that they fit inside, just inside, that's about 1/2 inch or so, and then put a pop rivet on either side. I'll have a nice, clean, and unimpinged Balisong. Yeah. Let me know if you like what you see, if you don't like what you see, if you have some suggestions. I've made quite a few knives before, but this is the first attempt at a Balisong. And once I get it put together with a bit more permanence, show it around a little bit more, and then yeah, let me know what you think. Bye now.